The scent of stale toner hung in the air. It was 1:17 a.m. I was standing in the empty office copy room, hands clean of the coffee grounds I'd just rinsed down a sink. The maintenance man, a quiet man in a crumpled suit, looked up from a sputtering machine. He'd spilled his drink, not unusual for a man on a late shift. He needed the paper tray reset. It was a simple, mechanical problem. I fixed it for him. He thanked me with a nod, then walked toward the elevator, adjusting his tie. It was a cheap, dark silk. He was too tired to notice I'd just saved him, the way I always saved them. Pacing. That was my only thought as I looked down at the photo on my phone. It wasn't a message or a call, just an image, a simple screenshot of a bank transfer receipt. $100,000. Sent from my client's executive account. The memo line was the punch in the gut. Tuition, the future. The recipient was not his son. My thumb hovered over the power button. No scream, no tears. Just a cold, hard compression in my chest. Not pain, just a perfect vacuum where mercy used to live. The storm wasn't forming. It had already arrived, quiet and deep inside me. I knew the lie, of course. My client, Mr. Elias Thorne, head of the firm I was about to sell, the man whose financial future I was guaranteeing, had been telling it for 5 years. A secret family in another city. A second life built on a foundation of my strategy, my contracts, and the complete, arrogant faith he had in my silence. He thought he was protected by my professionalism. He believed my focus on his sale was my only focus. He was wrong. My investigation had been running in parallel. Phone logs matched hotel receipts. The business trips always ended with a flight to that second city. His excuses were predictable, thin, and insulting. A man like that leaves breadcrumbs. A professional like me just sweeps them up. Thorne was a puppet of ego. He'd never see the strings until they were already around his neck. I didn't need a knife. I needed a contract. The conference room was all polished glass and cold steel. Thorne was already there, beaming at the prospect of the acquisition, his payday. He saw me, and his face twisted into a sneer. He hated the way I dressed, sharp, black, and perfectly tailored, the opposite of his own sloppy wealth. "Did you crawl out of a printer?" Thorne spat, loud enough for his remaining team to hear. His eyes raked over my simple, immaculate skirt suit. "Looking a little low rent for this meeting, aren't we, agent?" I sat down. My face was a mask of detached politeness. My hands rested in my lap, perfectly still. The door opened. The CEO of the acquiring firm, the man who held Thorne's golden future in his hands, walked in. It was the maintenance man from the copy room. He saw Thorne's presentation deck, a document built entirely on fabricated growth numbers, numbers I had been forced to generate. Then he looked at me, a single, knowing glance. He hadn't spilled the coffee. He had paused the machine and waited for my help. He needed a closer look at the woman who could fix a broken system with a steady, quiet competence. He was testing my focus. He had passed the only test that mattered, an understanding of quiet power. I had passed his. He didn't miss a beat. He looked at Thorne's desk, then at the man's expectant, arrogant face. Then the CEO turned to his team and simply said, "I'm with her." He wasn't talking about the merger. He was talking about the partnership he'd been building with me for the last 4 weeks. The new deal, the one that put me in Thorne's seat. Thorne went pale. His face collapsed. The sale was dead. His company was now on the open market, ruined by the sudden, unexplained withdrawal. And I, armed with the evidence of his embezzlement and secret family, was now the clean, new face of the acquisition. The $100,000 receipt was already in the hands of his wife's lawyer. He looked at me, a desperate plea in his eyes. He didn't see the woman who helped him fix a simple paper jam. He saw the predator he'd never even noticed. I gave him nothing, only a cold, clinical indifference. It wasn't a bomb. It was a precise, surgical implosion. I stood up. I walked away from the conference room, leaving him to the silence of his ruined world. No lingering anger, no guilt. The rage had been a tool. Now it was just peace. He tried to build two worlds. I took them both.